time I'll call to order the September 18, 2025 meeting of the Clearwater City Council. If you wish to address the council tonight, please complete a comment card. Comment cards are located by the clerk, seated to the right of the dais. When called to speak, please hand your card to the clerk. This time we'll move to item 2 on the agenda for our invocation. I'd ask that everyone please stand for the invocation tonight to be given by Father Bob Swick.
I do not see him.
Maybe not. I don't think Father Swick has been able to join us yet, so please join me in a word of prayer. Our Father, thank you for the opportunity to gather here tonight, just not as city leaders, but as a community to discuss city business, to discuss ideas and how we might work together to make our city better in all ways for everyone in it, to make it a city that glorifies your name. We are so thankful for the freedom that we enjoy in this country and that you've blessed us with, and help us to work to preserve that, to respect differing ideas and opinions, and to work together to make our cities, our county, our state, and our country better than ever. All this we pray in your name. Amen. Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
What's your name?
No.
Saved my life, dude. Service recognition award. Okay. This flag's hard printing in the back. It's round 2, dude.
We always like to start our meetings with a little drama to get everyone's attention. So, now before we begin the rest of the agenda, I'd like to introduce our dais for tonight. Our city clerk, Rosemarie Call.
Good evening.
Our city attorney, David Margolis.
Good evening.
Councilmember Ryan Cotton.
Good evening.
Councilmember Michael Menino.
Good evening.
To my right, Councilmember David Albritton.
Good evening.
Our vice mayor, Lena Teixeira.
Good evening.
Our city manager, Jennifer Poirier.
Good evening.
Assistant city manager, Dan Slaughter. And assistant city manager, Al Batten. With that, we'll move to item 4.1 of the agenda, Constitution Week proclamation. At this time, we'd like to call forward Mary Jo Gibson from the Daughters of the American Revolution and Dwight McIntyre from the Sons of the American Revolution. And anyone else in the group that would like to join them too. they're the same proclamation, but I have one proclamation for each of your groups tonight, and I'd like to read that at this time. Whereas September 17, 2025 marks the 238th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America, and whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America, designating September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week. And whereas it is appropriate and proper to recognize the significance of this document upon its anniversary with patriotic celebrations and readings. And whereas all citizens should not only appreciate, but also preserve and defend the principles of American government as expressed by the Constitution. Now, therefore, I, Bruce Rector, Mayor of the City of Clearwater, Florida, on behalf of the Clearwater City Council, do hereby proclaim September 17th to the 23rd, 2025, to be Constitution Week in Clearwater. Thank you for coming tonight. Thank you for all you do to educate, particularly our younger generation, on the freedoms we enjoy and how all that came about, and respect for our Constitution. And would you like to say a few words to us tonight?
Well, we'd like to thank the city for...
Yeah, if you could step the microphone so everyone can hear you behind you.
We'd like to thank the city for all that you do for your citizens here in Clearwater, and for including our chapter, Clearwater chapter of Daughters of American Revolution, and acknowledging what our forefathers have done for us. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the opportunity that we have to speak to you and the council. Thank you for the proclamation. We really appreciate it. As we remember back to 1775, when the first shots of the American Revolution were heard in the Battle of Lexington and Concord, further on till 1783, 84, when final peace treaty was signed. Again, we'd like to remind all of you that next year is the 250th anniversary of our country, and I have a pin that I would like to give each of the council members that celebrates the 250th anniversary.
Thank you very much. And thank you for coming tonight and receiving this important proclamation.
Listen, watch the dangerous flag. We'll get you. Watch that flag. I'm not taking out.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so very much.
That's your ammunition.
That's beautiful.
Thank you, sir.
Tighten up a little bit, ladies. Big smile. George Washington. Thanks.
Thank you,
Thank you all so much.
thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, have a great evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming tonight. Right? Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Thank you for the.
Yes, sir, you did. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I'd be happy to.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming tonight, Mike, man. This time we'll move to item 4.2 on the agenda, and we are pleased tonight to be receiving an end of legislative session report from our state representative, Kimberly Burke.
Oh my God. Straight up like.
Good evening, everyone. It is a pleasure, as always, to be with you as we work towards benefiting our community. The past 6 months, I would say, has been anything but normal. Many of us have friends, families, neighbors, and even some of us who are still trying to come back from the devastation we saw with Milton. The legislative session, for example, was 105 days instead of the 60 days it was supposed to be. For those of you who don't know, that's 45 days too long, I can be honest with you. Not to mention, we've experienced significant upheaval, political upheaval, producing moments in time for each of us and for our community and our state and our country that will never be forgotten. I'm happy to join you tonight and share some of the key achievements that were made in Tallahassee during the legislative session this year. A session which truly focused on well-being of residents and visitors alike. A strong commitment to supporting our local economies and ensuring the safety of our communities. For example, condo safety or condominium safety, a topic that I think would resonate with each of us as we experienced what Clearwater did during the concerns that were faced by South Beach 3 condo. The legislation was created to secure essential reserves for structural repair, clarifying undergoing regular inspections and the need of security integrity reserve studies. House Bill 913 not only enhances reserve funding, but it also gives associations more flexibility. They can now use that line of credit or loans, if they are necessary, to implement whatever changes need to be made. That flexibility is critical for a number of our residents because this is what they consider affordable housing. We've also extended deadlines for reserve funding so associations can manage those repairs without undue stress. The involvement of residents and transparency around their association in managing and assisting in the management of the condos also came under scrutiny, I'll say, this year, as we sought to strengthen the ethical standards that these community association managers are held to, as well as improving the requirements of their reporting. Interestingly, House Bill 393 was introduced to bolster safety in condo buildings that are 3 stories or higher. This new law makes it easier for condo associations to secure grant funding for the essential safety upgrades that require now a 75% vote of the condo membership. It's truly about making sure that we can help make certain that these buildings that individuals are living in are safe, but more importantly, that they can stay in their home. The legislature also sought to protect all Floridians through looking at some of our more vulnerable populations. We introduced House Bill 997, which focuses on improving legal protections for vulnerable adults, particularly our seniors. This bill introduces innovative methods to serving legal documents to individuals who cannot be identified, but are trying to scam or cheat our seniors out of their life savings. It's a way of putting safeguards in place to make sure that when there are legal processes that are there to ensure a due process for those of us who are acting ethically, there's also a pathway to make sure that we are protecting our vulnerable, ensuring that any contested transfers of funds and property are paused for a necessary period to make determinations as appropriate. And I was proud to be a part of the team that was sponsoring that piece of legislation. It's one of the ways that we sought to make life safer and more compassionate for some of those who needed assistance. Additionally, we've made significant strides to protect our youth. House Bill 879 and Senate Bill 584, known as the Young Adult Housing Legislation. It's a piece of legislation that actually focused on homelessness and housing of inability of many students who are going to school, or those who have turned out of our foster system. It requires state colleges and universities to collaborate with the State Office of Homelessness to develop housing plans that prioritize these students for residence hall placement, work-study positions, and importantly, it prohibits the necessary co-signing for a lease. When you stop to think about it, who would you have gone to when you were younger? Probably went to a loved one, family member, an individual who's close to you. Some of our young people, unfortunately, in today's society, don't have that individual. And it was creating a situation where we saw more and more young people who were being homeless as they were trying to get something necessary for their future, an education. We also passed legislation to protect our first responders and boaters alike. You know, having grown up in the city of Clearwater, it's a blessing because I have seen the benefit of what Clearwater was. I have seen what we have become, but it also has given me the ability to envision what we will be. That insight made being part of the legislation aimed at clarifying how amenities can be introduced on our Florida's public lands, like our public parks and our public beaches, truly meaningful for me. The legislation addresses community concerns and emphasizes the importance of protecting how our shared public lands are taken care of. Lands like Paladisi Island or Sand Key Park. Appreciating our state parks are a vital part of our recreational activities, tourism, and environmental stewardship. This may have been what I would consider one of the easiest pieces of legislation to pass during this legislative session, and that is saying a lot. House Bill 209 establishes clearer guidelines for the development on these areas, ensuring that decisions will actually take into consideration diverse interests of Floridians while preserving those natural surroundings. Additionally, as a part of our commitment to the community, the 2025 budget priorities really focused on fiscal responsibility with a budget that was actually a reduction from last year's. It allowed us to manage the finances wisely, but also to consider the sustainability of our economic future. Being entrusted as with the taxpayer dollars means that we have to be good stewards. And you all can appreciate that as you do your job, trying to be good stewards for the residents of Clearwater. Being a fiduciary, you understand that your responsibility is to make sure that the taxpayer dollars we are entrusted with are being better utilized through stronger outcomes or better outcomes and more effective ROI and meeting the needs that we have in our community. Sometimes that doesn't mean we get the wants, but it definitely means we meet our needs. That's why one of the best achievements I would say that I was part of passing this year was a piece of legislation, Senate Bill 2500, the commitment to transparency in Medicaid management. Now, that might not sound like a big deal to you, but the Medicaid part of our state budget is $40 billion. That's B with a, instead of an M for the million. And when you consider that, that's over a quarter of our budget. That being the case, we sought to make sure that as the outcomes were coming forward, as things were being reported to the Agency for Healthcare Administration, that information was then going to be passed along to us to make sure that the legislature could be even better and stronger fiduciaries for you, ensuring that the services that were being paid for, the denials that were occurring were appropriate, each one of the steps in the process, and that those taxpayer dollars were actually receiving what they were being spent on. Even with a fiscally responsible budget, I am proud to say that I was a part of securing over $17 million for our city, funding that aimed at enhancing various aspects of our community. The Clearwater Living Seawall at $3 million, the City of Clearwater Elevate Bayshore Drive at $1 million, Clearwater North Beach Storm Improvements at $3 million, Clearwater Marina Aquarium, $100,000. I'll get that right at some point. One Voice Pediatric Cancer Foundation at $300,000 and a Drug Free American Foundation for $200,000. These projects will improve not only our infrastructure, but they will enhance educational facilities, they'll expand healthcare access, and they'll bolster public safety, which is a primary responsibility of local government as well as state government. I want to express my sincere gratitude for your passion and dedication and your willingness to always be strong and positive partners in this process. So thank you very much.
On behalf of our representative, on behalf of our city and our city council, I just want to thank you for the work you do. We all go to Tallahassee at least once, a couple times each session, and to see how hard you work for the citizens of Clearwater, I just want to thank you for that. I can tell you Representative Burfield fights harder than any other state representative in the Florida House for our citizens. And she not only fights harder, she fights smarter, because she's finishing her 9th year of serving in the Florida House. And we benefit from that wealth of experience that you bring to Tallahassee to get things done for us. And what you just shared is very representative of that. So thank you for all you do.
I appreciate it. It is a true honor, as it is an honor.
And
to
thank
work
you for
with all.
being here tonight.
Y'all have a good evening.
This time we'll move to item 4.3 on the agenda. I'd like to call forward Clearwater native, USF graduate, twice I believe, and a great representative for the city of Clearwater, Sean Schrader, to talk about the USA Youth Ambassador Program that he participated in.
Well, thank you very much, Mayor and Council. Good evening. It is great to see you all. I'm Sean Schrader, as you just mentioned, proud lifelong resident of our great city, and I'm grateful for a few of your minutes tonight to talk about a really life-changing opportunity I had to recently serve as a U.S. Youth Ambassador at the 2025 World Expo in Osaka, Japan. As you know, it was a little over a year ago I was here, where I shared that I was going to spend the fall teaching English in Japan. And really great experience. Japan, I think, is so unique and so different from anywhere else in the United States or really anywhere else in the world, but I quickly realized I don't think I have the patience to be any kind of teacher. So while I was there, I was shared another opportunity to consider applying with Sister Cities International to serve as a U.S. Youth Ambassador. And somehow out of over, I think, around 1,500 applications, I was honored to be selected among 88 other youth leaders from around the country to embark on this initiative. So the World Expo takes place every 5 years. It happened in 2020 in Dubai. It's going to happen in 2030 in Saudi Arabia. And the closest similarity I think you can think about is what you might have at Epcot at Disney World. You have all of these countries, over 100 of them, that are really showcasing what makes them unique. Their food, their culture, their history, really famous destinations you might want to visit. And I think then it serves a lot of different purposes. You know, if you are a student maybe that wants to go study somewhere, you can really experience that. You want to go somewhere on vacation as a family or just to visit a different famous location, or even maybe if you want to invest in business opportunities. And so I think the Expo really gives you a lot of those benefits that are available to visitors that go. And so for the United States side, it is overseen at a very high level by the U.S. State Department. They really then contract a lot of their work out. For this particular expo, two of the main stakeholders involved, of course, Sister Cities International to oversee the youth ambassador piece, and then an organization called Trivandi that does a whole lot in terms of the international event space, you know, with the FIFA soccer tournaments, the conference of parties, and all of those types of things with the Olympics. And so I traveled to Japan alongside a lot of my counterparts in March and spent March to the end of July working there, and it was a really great experience. The United States Pavilion in particular has a lot of different themes that they have focused on. I think one of the biggest is on American excellence, a lot of American innovation that's taking place with emerging technologies like AI, a lot of famous places you can visit in the United States, a lot of famous beaches on our coastline showcased in different pictures and videos. And then I think the biggest piece and draw of the pavilion was the focus on space. Everything that's happening on our other coast here in Florida with NASA, how they are continuing to explore the moon and have a really big push to go to Mars in the future. And I know it might surprise all of you, but I'm not a native Japanese speaker, don't even probably speak a fluent sentence of it. But when you're able to connect with guests, and when I was there, I was fortunate to help welcome, over 1 million guests throughout the experience alongside a lot of talented partners, you realize that things like space, things like seeing famous parts of the U.S., things like this technology are very exciting to people, and I think it gives them a good sense of what's going on in our country and some of the really exciting opportunities that are available. And I thought that was a really, really special part of the experience. And another great part of the experience was all of the opportunities to represent our great city. There are 3 in particular that I'm really proud of. While I was there, there was a group of students, middle school students going into high school, that are part of the Nagano Clearwater Sister Cities Exchange. I was fortunate to give them a personal tour of the pavilion, which was great, as well as sit down with them and give them some advice, for better or worse, in terms of how they might be able to get involved in the city in different ways or future types of international engagements. The next thing was really great was getting to actually travel to Nagano, I think just a few weeks ahead of when you all were there, to meet with a few different executives from the city and some local businesses. And the work that they are doing, as you all know, is really, really cool in terms of how they are educating students on really universal themes like the Sustainable Development Goals, in terms of how they're practicing that in their education, how they're engaging with local businesses, for students to really get technical training with worldwide companies like Daiso or Toyota. And I thought that was really, really neat, as well as seeing a lot of the cultural elements, and of course the food, which is very different than anything we have here in Clearwater, but still very good nonetheless. And probably the most exciting thing I had the chance to do was the United States Pavilion, like almost every other pavilion at the Expo, had a national day. The National Day for the U.S. took place July 19th, just a few days before I left, and I'm sure you all have been following the news between the United States and Japan over the last couple months. There's been a lot of work to get a trade deal underway and get that finalized. And so as a part of that National Day, President Trump sent a delegation to the World Expo, including Secretary Bessent, Secretary Dara Mayer, the Deputy Secretary of State, as well as a few other senior advisors to the president to really meet with Japanese leaders and really think about how they could move forward, and of course, visit the U.S. Pavilion. And I was very honored to be asked to be among a few youth ambassadors to personally welcome them and shake their hand and everything. And that was a pretty cool experience, and really, really nice to talk to them and share a little bit about what we're doing in Clearwater. So overall, I thought it was a great experience, a really special opportunity, a great way to get involved. And really, you can watch so much with what happens on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube to really get a sense of cultural immersion. But to be there on the ground, engage, and really represent the city in person was a really special opportunity. So thank you for this chance tonight. I'm more than happy if you have any questions.
Yeah. Well, thank you for all you do. We've been watching you for years over in Tampa and throughout Tampa Bay and throughout the state, appearing on panel discussions and doing things that are great for Sean Schrader, but they're great for Clearwater, because everywhere you go, you remind people where you're from, and that's a great thing. And now, I don't know where you were at the other day, but it looked like you were overseas, maybe in Japan again, presenting on a panel. And Sean, we just can't tell you how much we appreciate that as a city council and as a city, to have bright, young, talented folks like yourself out there representing our city throughout the world. And thank you for that very fascinating experience, and thank you for all you do to help us promote Clearwater and show the best and brightest that we produce here.
Well, thank you very much. And I got to tell you, I like the local panel discussions more, because any of the international stuff, you always got to invest in the more leg room. I at least do, for the seats. Otherwise, tough flight. But thank you very much. Thanks for all you do.
Thank you for being here
Thank
tonight.
you.
Yeah. This time we'll move to item 4.4, Stormwater Resiliency Update. I'd like to call forward Marcus Williamson, our Public Works Director.
Evening, Mayor, Council. I don't know how you follow those three. Maybe I need to ask to go back to the end of the agenda. Wonderful info there. So I did want to start by first kind of thanking the residents for understanding as we're going after stormwater. We recognize we have a backlog. So a lot of understanding residents out there as we try to play catch up. Feel like we're starting to turn the corner a little bit, and I think a lot of that's due to council, our fleet department, for helping us get some of this new equipment on board, and procurement, who we've been overloading with bid packages. So I do feel like we're starting to make the turn, so I appreciate everyone's support in helping us get there. Bayshore Drive, we've been focusing some crews out there, trying to address some of the steady tidal inflow that's causing some flooding out there. We'll likely follow suit, something similar to what we're doing out on North Beach over on the Bayshore Drive to address that, but we're doing some short-term things to help alleviate some of the flooding over there, restoring some retention ponds, clearing out some ditches, and trying to fix some flows. We'll probably put some tidal valves out there in the near future once we can dig out the ditches enough to get to that. So hopefully that'll help provide a little bit of relief to the residents over there also. We're also working a number of ditches across the city. So as Fleet's been able to help us get some of that new equipment in, that's really helping us get after those. We did get the other contract in, so we've got a contractor out there helping us on a couple of ditches too. So residents should start to see some of that moving. We got the WeDo in, and it's hard use out there. It's actually interesting to watch our zones kind of competing, saying, you know, I get it next. I've got a issue over here to go address. So enjoying getting to see some of that. I think they actually enjoy operating it. So that's great to see. I think that'll turn into a recruitment tool for us too. So I think that's a bunch of wins that are out there. One of the other just side notes from that I hopefully will help is we look at the Tampa Bay Estuary Program, which Councilman Cotton, I know you hear some of the nutrient issues that are out there. That mechanical removal should help us get some of that out of our water. So we're also looking forward to that piece of equipment helping with some of our water quality issues that are out there. The North Beach pump, Phase 1 design is progressing very quickly now. So we'll be seeing 60% here in about 2 weeks. So we're excited. That one's definitely picking up the pace. So looking forward to getting some of those designs in. We've got a couple more bid packages that we're working, trying to add some more capabilities to the team. Again, stormwater crew is only about 30 folks, so what we've recognized is we really need to get some of that additional capacity in so that when we need to be able to pull some of those levers quickly to address issues, we kind of have them on the bench. And we brought a new technology out that was kind of cool to see for extending seawalls, so it's able to attach to it. The product actually does not require rebar, which rebar is one of the issues that'll cause a bunch of the discoloration, the concrete popping and what out there. So the way that it's designed and constructed, it almost kind of becomes the formwork, and then you fill the concrete in, but the formwork has enough strength in it that it's like number 3 bars, 8 inches on center. So pretty slick. We're interested to try that out in a location or 2. So we're continuing to go after some of those technologies as council asked us to do, and excited to get some of them on board. So.
Excellent.
Any questions for the director? No? Councilman Raleigh?
So I'd like to come see that seawall thing. Are you putting it over the existing cap? You don't take the existing cap out, this just goes on top?
So it actually goes down the side, so you look at each site depending on how it's constructed. So it varies on the seawall. But some of them that we looked at North Beach, we would be able to just put it on both sides of the seawall, and it would come up over it, and then we kind of infill it, and that way you can raise it without having to tear the whole seawall apart. So,
Wow.
So
Very cool.
we can get you some info, sir.
Yeah, thanks.
Any other questions? Thank you. Appreciate it. With that, we'll move to item 5.1 on the agenda.
Approve the minutes of the September 4, 2025 City Council meeting and the September 3, 2025 Special City Council meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Move to the item 6, the consent agenda. Are there any items to be removed from the agenda tonight?
No, sir.
Okay. With that, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
Move to approve agenda items 6.1 through 6.18.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Move to item 7.1.
Amend the city's fiscal year 2024-25 operating capital budgets at third quarter and pass ordinances 9851-25 and 9852-25 on first reading.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Kayleen Castle, Budget Director. This is the third quarter and final budget review for the fiscal year 24-25 operating and capital budget. I went over the report with you on Monday. I'd be happy to answer any additional questions you may have.
Does anyone here from the public tonight that desires to speak to agenda item 7.1? Hearing seeing none, may we have a reading?
Mayor, we have ordinance number 9851-25, an ordinance of the City of Clearwater, Florida, amending the operating budget for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2025, to reflect increases and decreases in revenues and expenditures for the general fund, gas fund, marine fund, parking fund, special development fund, and special program fund, as provided herein, providing an effective date. We also have ordinance number 9852-25, an ordinance of the City of Clearwater, Florida, amending the capital improvement budget for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2025, to reflect a budget increase of $6,048,461, providing an effective date.
Is there any council discussion on this agenda item? If not, is there a motion?
Move to approve agenda item 7.1.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you. Agenda item 7.2.
Approve amendments to the Clearwater Code of Ordinances, Chapter 2, Administration by amending Article 3, Appointed Authorities, Boards, Committees, Division 2, Airport Advisory Board, and Chapter 4, Airports and Aircraft by amending Article 1 in general and Article 2, Airports, and pass ordinance 9825-25 on first reading.
Good evening, Council. Mayor Mike McDonald, Marine and Aviation Director. As discussed at Monday's work session, this ordinance would change the name of the Clearwater Airpark to Clearwater Executive Airport, and it would also sunset the Aviation Advisory Board. I'll be happy to answer any questions. I also have Will Holtz with representative from Fly USA, if y'all have any questions for him.
Does anyone hear from the public tonight that the desires to speak to agenda item 7.2? Bruce?
All right. Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Sarah Branyan, and I am a public policy student at St. Petersburg College, and I'm here as part of a class project. It requires me to analyze a first reading ordinance and participate in the council process. So I chose ordinance 9825-25, which makes two changes. It renames Clearwater Airpark as Clearwater Executive Airport, and it dissolves the Airpark Advisory Board. From my research, and I was able to do an interview with Mr. Michael McDonald, your Director of Aviation and Marine, and I learned that the airpark has been a part of Clearwater since 1930. It is home to predominantly privately owned aircraft, and today it operates under a 30-year lease with Fly USA. Fly USA manages the land, oversees tenants, and handles daily operations. The proposed name change to Executive Airport reflects current industry standards. It is not about changing the airport's character, but about aligning the name with its role in business and general aviation. Importantly, key protections like the curfew, restricting takeoffs and landings between 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. will remain in place. As for the Airpark Advisory Board, participation has declined in recent years, and much of its role has become kind of redundant under the Fly USA lease. So Fly USA already maintains its own advisory board and regularly hosts open house events where residents can meet with management and city representatives. My recommendation is really simple. It would be that the city would move forward with this ordinance. It should ensure that the community engagement remains a priority, and encouraging Fly USA to continue its public events, making sure there is a clear way for the neighborhood to voice concerns and for them to be documented and shared with city staff will preserve accountability even without a city advisory board. This ordinance highlights a broader principle, and public-private partnerships can improve efficiency, but transparency and community voice must remain part of the equation. With regular engagement, Clearwater Executive Airport can continue to be both an economic asset and a good neighbor. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Very well done. Perfect timing. Right at the end of your minutes.
Summarize everything.
Does anyone else here from the public tonight desire to speak to this agenda item? If not, maybe we have a reading.
Mayor, we have ordinance number 9825-25, an ordinance of the City of Clearwater, Florida, repealing sections 2.0081, 2.082, 2.083, and 2.084 Code of Ordinances, and to change the name of Clearwater Airpark to Clearwater Executive Airport in section 4.23, providing an effective date.
Is there any council discussion? If not, is there a motion?
Motion to approve agenda item 7.2.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you. Donna? Agenda item 8.1.
Yes, barely. Ordinance number 982825 on second reading. An ordinance of the City of Clearwater, Florida, annexing certain real property located on the north side of Seabreeze Street, approximately 145 feet east of Sunny Park Road, whose post office address is 1408 Seabreeze Street, Clearwater, Florida 33756, together with abutting Seabreeze Street right-of-way into the corporate limits of the city and redefining the boundary lines of the city to include said addition, providing an effective date.
Is there anyone here from the public tonight that desires to speak to this agenda item? Hearing seen none, is there any council discussion? Now is there a motion?
Motion to approve agenda item 8.1.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Agenda item 8.2.
Next up is ordinance number 9829-25 on second reading, an ordinance of the City of Clearwater, Florida, amending the future land use element of the comprehensive plan of the city to designate the land use for certain real property located on the north side of Seabreeze Street, approximately 145 feet east of Sunny Park Road, whose post office address is 1408 Seabreeze Street, Clearwater, Florida, 33756, upon annexation into the City of Clearwater as residential low, RL, providing an effective date.
Is anyone here from the public tonight that desires to speak to agenda item 8.2? Hearing, seeing none, is there any council discussion on this agenda item? If not, is there a motion?
Move to approve agenda item 8.2.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Agenda item 8.3.
Next up is ordinance number 9830-25 on second reading, an ordinance of the City of Clearwater, Florida, amending the zoning atlas of the city by zoning certain real property located on the north side of Seabreeze Street, approximately 145 feet east of Sunny Park Road, whose post office address is 1408 Seabreeze Street, Clearwater, Florida, 33756, upon annexation into the City of Clearwater as low-medium density residential, LMDR, providing an effective date.
Is anyone here from the public tonight that desires to speak to agenda item 8.3? Hearing, seeing none, is there any council discussion? If not, is there a motion?
Move to approve agenda item 8.3.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Agenda item 8.4.
Next up is ordinance number 9831-25 on second reading. An ordinance of the City of Clearwater, Florida, annexing certain real property located on the east side of Ridge Avenue, approximately 432 feet south of Long Street, whose post office address is 1115 Ridge Avenue, Clearwater, Florida, 33755, together with certain Ridge Avenue right-of-way into the corporate limits of the city and redefining the boundary lines of the city to include said addition, providing an effective date.
Is anyone here from the public tonight desiring to speak to agenda item 8.4? Hearing, seeing none, is there any council discussion? If not, is there a motion?
Motion to approve agenda item 8.4.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Agenda item 8.5.
8.5 is ordinance number 9832-25 on second reading. An ordinance of the City of Clearwater, Florida, amending the future land use element of the comprehensive plan of the city to designate the land use for certain real property located on the east side of Ridge Avenue, approximately 432 feet south of Long Street, whose post office address is 1115 Ridge Avenue, Clearwater, Florida, 33755, upon annexation into the City of Clearwater as residential low, RL, providing an effective date.
Is anyone here from the public tonight that desires to speak to agenda item 8.5? Hearing, seeing none, is there any council discussion? If not, is there a motion?
Motion to approve agenda item 8.5.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Agenda item 8.6.
8.6 is ordinance number 9833-25 up on second reading. An ordinance of the City of Clearwater, Florida, amending the zoning atlas of the city by zoning certain real property located on the east side of Ridge Avenue, approximately 432 feet south of Long Street, whose post office address is 1115 Ridge Avenue, Clearwater, Florida, 33755, upon annexation into the City of Clearwater as low-medium density residential, LMDR, providing an effective date.
Is anyone here from the public tonight that desires to speak to agenda item 8.6? Hearing, seeing none, is there any council discussion? If not, is there a motion?
Move to approve agenda item 8.6.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Agenda item 8.7.
8.7 is ordinance number 9837-25 on second reading. An ordinance of the City of Clearwater, Florida, annexing certain real property located on the south side of Downing Street, approximately 795 feet west of South Bayshore Boulevard, whose post office address is 3133 Downing Street, Clearwater, Florida, 33759, into the corporate limits of the city and redefining the boundary lines of the city to include said addition, providing an effective date.
Is anyone here from the public tonight that desires to speak to agenda item 8.7? Hearing, seeing none, is there any council discussion? If none, then is there a motion?
Move to approve agenda item 8.7.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Agenda item 8.8.
8.8 is ordinance number 9838-25 on second reading. An ordinance of the City of Clearwater, Florida, amending the future land use element of the comprehensive plan of the city to designate the land use for certain real property located on the south side of Downing Street, approximately 795 feet west of South Bayshore Boulevard, whose post office address is 3133 Downing Street, Clearwater, Florida, 33759, upon annexation into the City of Clearwater as residential urban RU, providing an effective date.
Is anyone here from the public tonight that desires to speak to agenda item 8.8? Hearing seeing none, is there any council discussion? If none, is there a motion?
Motion to approve agenda item 8.8.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Agenda item 8.9.
This is where it gets exciting. Ordinance number 9839-25, up on second reading. An ordinance of the City of Clearwater, Florida, amending the zoning atlas of the city by zoning certain real property located on the south side of Downing Street, approximately 795 feet west of South Bayshore Boulevard, whose post office address is 3133 Downing Street, Clearwater, Florida, 33759, upon annexation into the City of Clearwater as low-medium density residential, LMDR, providing an effective date.
Motion to approve.
Second.
8.9.
Is anyone here from the public tonight desire to speak to agenda item 8.9? Hearing seeing none, is there any council discussion? If not, is there a motion?
Made already. 8.9.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Agenda item 8.10.
8.10 is up on second reading, and I will need a moment to pull that one separately. Okay. That is ordinance number 9841-25, an ordinance of the City of Clearwater, Florida, amending Code of Ordinances Appendix A, Schedule of Fees, Rates, and Charges, Article 24, Public Works, Fees, Rates, and Charges, amending Section 3 Sub A 1, Domestic Water Rates, amending Section 3 Sub A 2, Lawn Water Meters, amending Section 3 Sub B 1, Wastewater Collection Rates, amending Section 3F, Reclaimed Water Rates, amending Sections 3A7 and 3B6 to remove references to the Public Service Commission's rate index, providing for severability and providing for an effective date.
Is there anyone here from the public tonight that desires to speak to agenda item 8.10? Hearing seeing none, is there any council discussion? If not, is there a motion?
Move to approve agenda item 8.10.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Agenda item 9, city manager reports. Agenda item 10, city attorney reports.
Nothing, sir.
Agenda item 11.1 is the resolution for Red Star City application, which I discussed on Monday. Are there any questions? If not, is there a motion to approve that?
Move to approve agenda item 11.1.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Mayor, we have a
kidding.
resolution to read.
Well, not just that, but we
Yeah.
don't have a
Excuse me.
number designated, all right?
It's not in the agenda.
So I think that because it is a resolution, one of the oddities of our council rules is that council has to give the direction to actually prepare the resolution.
Okay.
We can use the format that is already attached to this as long as council is amenable to the language, but we will need to create a resolution number
Got
for
it.
this. And so
Got
if
it.
there is consensus for the council to do that, if council is supportive of this resolution, then I would ask that we bring that back at the next meeting. But we'll need to generate a resolution number in order to do that successfully. But right now, it's on the agenda for council discussion.
Okay.
So
Very good.
Do you want me to redo the motion and say prepare the resolution for Red Star City?
I think as long as there's consensus of council, that's perfectly fine. So
We have consensus.
we'll bring that back at the next agenda.
Okay, thank you. Move to item 12, closing comments by council members. Councilmember Cotton.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a rough little bit of a week. We've, 8 days ago, Charlie Kirk assassinated. I think it just sent shockwaves through the nation again. You have somebody who's defending their faith, freedom, their beliefs and ideals, and having open and honest debate, and you're assassinated for that. So hopefully, we continue to keep Erica, his 2 small girls, in our prayers. It's got to be a tough time. I couldn't imagine navigating that. But then hopefully we all, just do some introspection too. This country is founded on being able to have open and honest debate, and you shouldn't have to worry about going outside and being murdered for those debates and holding your beliefs. So let's all just make sure we're in the right temperament, and it's always great to have convictions. I have plenty of convictions. You've seen them up here before. But always check yourself and know how to manage your emotions. So please, if we could all just continue to be praying for the Kirk family. That's all I have, so thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Menino.
No, sir.
Councilmember Alberg.
No, sir.
Vice Mayor.
Yes. I also want to acknowledge the moment or the moments that we're living in today. The tragic killing of Charlie Kirk is a sobering reminder that violence has no place in our society. While his views were often the subject of passionate debate, no one should face harm for their beliefs or their voice. We must remain committed to addressing our differences through dialogue and democratic engagement, never through violence. My condolences go out to his family and all who are mourning his loss. We've also been shaken by yet another school shooting in Colorado. And how can we forget the anniversary of September 11th, with its thousands of lives lost and the grief that still echoes all these years later. And also the murders of Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark, a politically motivated attack on public servants simply for serving their community. This strikes us. These events weigh heavily on all of us. But in the face of such sorrow, we must strive to stay positive, remind ourselves of the loved ones we still have, maybe reduce our time on social media, where much of this pain is magnified, and instead use this time to appreciate family, friends, and the chance we each must contribute to a society built on kindness, respect, and justice.
Thank you. I'm pretty prevalent on, we'll go to, well, I guess first go to closing comments by Mayor, agenda item 13. I've been public about my concern and sympathies for Charlie Kirk and his family. Beautiful, loving wife and 2 young children left behind. And a great tragedy, not just for the Kirk family, but for our country. A man out really exercising that freedom of speech, trying to engage folks on college campuses and productive dialogue and challenging ideas, the kind of the freedom of exchange and difference of ideas that took place in Independence Hall when where I stood here recently at the end of August when we visited Philadelphia, and my prayers as well for Charlie Kirk's family, and really prayers going forward for the cause that he fought for, and that was for freedom and freedom of exchange of ideas, and may his cause and his interest in protecting and educating folks on freedom, may that continue on for years to come. I also want to just acknowledge on a different note, continued great success of the amphitheater, which is just down the hill from us here. The Baycare Sound had its 100th show on Monday night. A fantastic show with Charlie Crockett and Leon Bridges. They had between 4,000 and 5,000 people there for knew Charlie Crockett, didn't know Leon Bridges very well, but 2 of the best performances I've seen at the Baycare Sound. And just as a city if you haven't been down here from the public to attend a concert or an event at Baycare Sound, I encourage you to do so. Everyone who attends, whether they're from elsewhere in Tampa Bay or out of the state of Florida, I've met folks like we all have who, I met a family from Venezuela who was attending for the first time. They're all very impressed with the Baycare Sound and Coachman Park in general. And we've got an event coming up, Clearwater Jazz Holiday, takes place next month in the green area of the Coachman Park. But so many wonderful things happening in this park that our city invested a lot of money and time into creating, and it's so far been a great success. So congratulations to them. Thank you to Ruth Eckert Hall for providing the entertainment that we've seen, and congratulations on the 100th show. It's a great success for our city and community, and I encourage all citizens to come down there and enjoy it at one time or another. So with that, we will move to item 14 on the agenda, and I will at this time adjourn the September 18, 2025 meeting of the Clearwater City Council.